Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
U.S. trying to close the show. She was doing a great job of feeding. That is over.
Don't you regret not coming to the net? Don't you regret not coming to the net?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to episode 703 of the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. Thank you for tuning in to BD4. We're not wasting time in this one. The New York Yankees took an impressive 2 out of 3 against the Cleveland Guardians in the Bronx this past week. It was impressive. Cleveland's a very good team. I believe they came into this series with the best record in the American League. And now the Yankees leave the series with the best record in the American League. Also, with these 2 wins and with Baltimore's 2-game losing streak, the Yankees now have taken over first place by a game and a half, which is their largest lead over Baltimore since June 25th. So it's about 2 months right there. So that's huge. That's now they've got, Baltimore's been struggling for a bit now, and the Yankees have a chance to really gain some ground now with a series they should be sweeping coming up in the Bronx, playing against a just terrible Rockies team. So the Yankees have a chance here to do some real good damage in the American League East for once, because every time they've tried to they've had a chance to capitalize, they've not really been able to do so. So this is a big chance coming up. But yes, the Yankees are now a game and a half up from Baltimore. After their win today, they are now 75 and 53. 75 and 53, a 586 win percentage, which is putting them exactly on pace for 95 wins. So that's good. So let's get into this series, man. A couple of in-house things before we get going into the actual series itself. Luis Gil, during this series, went on to the Phantom DL with back tightness. We'll touch on that a little bit later. Clark Schmidt, tomorrow, Friday, he will be throwing a 50-pitch rehab with Somerset. So that's good. I'm hoping that he can be back by September. I believe the first series of September is against the Rangers. They play that series in Texas. That starts on the 2nd. So I'm hoping he can return for that series. That's in a week. A little more than a week. Jazz Chisholm is back. He's going to be activated tomorrow. So hopefully he's in the starting lineup tomorrow night. And with that move, they unfortunately demoted Oswald Peraza. I'm pretty sure that was his last option. Not totally sure, but interesting there. Sucks for the kid because they should have traded him a whole while ago instead of just wasting him down there. Anthony Rizzo, this weekend, he will be starting a rehab with Somerset, DH only. So, listen, Ben Rice has sucked really hard for the Yankees. He's been very bad after his cute couple of weeks. I still prefer Ben Rice over Anthony Rizzo. I think Rizzo's toast. But I rest my case. Cody Poteet, Ian Hamilton, and John Birdie started a rehab with Somerset, so they're working their way back. Scott Effross threw his 6th scoreless outing in a row tonight with Scranton. So he's been chilling down there a while. And Jason Dominguez, 2 more hits tonight, both at 108 miles an hour. John Sterling returning to the Yankees. He will be, maybe, they said, the report said he might return for to the booth for the postseason. So hopefully the Yankees don't disappoint him again. All right. That's all the in-house stuff. Let's get to the series, man. 3-game set against Cleveland, and it didn't go well the first game. The Yankees lost 9-5 in 12 innings. Yeah, this was Luis Seal going up against Matthew Boyd. The Yankees scored 5 runs. 5 runs on 7 hits, 5 extra base hits, 9 walks. They grounded into a double play, and they were 1 for 16 with runners in scoring position. They scored 3 runs on Boyd, who went 5 1/3. And then against the Cleveland bullpen, they scored 2 in 6 2/3. Bottom of the first, you get Judge and Soto going back-to-back with homers. That kind of got you feeling confident, like the Yankees were going to do something here. Good vibes at the very beginning, and they were quickly gone. Bottom of the 4th inning, Cleveland was up a run. But then Volpe rips an RBI double to tie the game at 3. And then there was no scoring until the bottom of the 12th when Cleveland just pounded out a bunch at the top of the 12th, and the Yankees answer back with a Judge double in garbage time. And the final was 9-5. But the Yankees offensively, man, did they have a lot of big opportunities to really make some noise. And they just continuously, 1 for 16 in scoring position, just continuously flopped. You can go back to the 4th inning. Even after they scored the run, Volpe steals 3rd, nobody out, and they get nothing. They get nothing from that. And then you go to the 6th inning, bottom 6, you got the Jose Trevino walk off of Boyd. He gets pulled. Sandlin comes into the game. Volpe singles off him, so you got 1st and 2nd, 1 out, and then LeMahieu grounds into a double play. Bottom of the 8th, Stanton, a leadoff walk against Smith, and then Austin Wells with a 1-out pinch hit double. Thanks, Boone, for finally recognizing Wells can hit lefties. Actually, I don't know if Smith's a lefty, but comes into the game because he didn't start. And pinch running for Giancarlo was Trent Grisham, and commits just a terrible base running error. Rojas not good on the send either. He's out at home, Grisham. That was a key play in the game. And then Volpe grounds out after that. He pounds the splitter into the dirt. And you get to the bottom of the 11th. Volpe's on second base as the Manfred runner. Cabrera flies out. So the offense was just friggin' dreadful in this game. And then Luis Seal was tough to watch. 3+ innings, 3 runs, 3 hits, 6 walks to 3 strikeouts, a home run allowed, 78 pitches. He was bad. Got the no decision, but he was bad. 0 control once again. His last 2 starts, he's just fell off a cliff with his command. Sometimes he goes up there and it looks like he has no idea where the ball's going. He's still a thrower. He still struggles with that, and he's tried tweaking mechanics, and I know he's changed the grip on his slider, and he's going to a lot more. He's going to that slider a lot more lately, and it was working for a while, but these last 2 starts, the slider's not been working as effectively. But everything was getting hit, Top of the 2nd inning, the Yankees are up 2-zip. Noel with a leadoff double off of a fastball in the middle of the zone. Jimenez draws a walk, throws a couple fastballs out of the zone there. And then you get the Josh Naylor fielder's choice RBI. DJ's laid home with a throw. It's 2-1. Cleveland cuts the Yankee lead to 2-1. Top three, Yanks are up 1. They get to Luis Gil gets 2 quick outs, but then he loses control of the slider and walks Noel. Loses control of the changeup versus Jimenez, and he walks him. And then he leaves the slider up in the zone to the number 7 hitter for an RBI single, and it's a tie game 2-2. And then he goes out there for one more inning, and he can't complete it. Top of the 4th, it's a tie game, and he gives up a solo home run to Rocchio off of a fastball up in the zone. It's 3-2 Cleveland. And then he walks Juan, gets 2 quick outs, and then leaves with a back injury. Back injury, I don't know if it was a phantom thing. It didn't seem like he was actually hurt. I think this is just them realizing Poteet's returning, Schmidt's on the bend. We can afford now to manage his innings workload. Now is probably the best time. Let's put him on the DL for a few. He'll miss some starts, get him back before the postseason to ramp up again, and I think that's the plan. Maybe he's just a little fatigued. When your control is that off, that's a sign of fatigue. Well, I listened to Jomboy was saying how his arm angle has been dropping lately, and that's obviously a sign of fatigue. So it's a smart idea for the Yankees. This is the most innings that he's ever thrown in his professional career. So this guy coming back from Tommy John, you don't want to screw with it. That's fine with me. So he goes 3+, and the bullpen has to give 9 innings in this game because it went to extras. 9 innings, 6 runs, 9 hits, 8 walks. They were looking good for a while. I mean, between Tim Hill, Mark Leiter Jr., Luke Weaver, Tommy Kahnle, Clay Holmes, and Jay Cousins, who was awesome, they were all great. They were all excellent from the 4th inning to the 11th inning. Tim Meza comes in. Michael Tonkin wasn't good either. Those 2 guys right there, pathetic. And they combined to allow 6 runs in the 12th inning alone. And they completely put the game away. But this game right here, game 2, we're going to take a little detour here and talk about something because this was pathetic. This was the most, the Yankees under the Boone regime have been very pathetic fundamentally. By the way, this is supposed to be game. The graphic on the screen was supposed to be. Oh no, we're on game 1. Okay. This was supposed to be. I lost my train of thought because I thought I had the wrong graphic up on YouTube. If you're watching, but we're good. Oh yeah. So the Yankees under the Boone regime, man. Like, listen, their fundamentals, they're very bad at doing the little things under him. I know that. This might have been the worst game I've seen just baseball. Like, they were so not sharp. And it's such a glaring hole. I mean, I have it listed here, the amount of things that really pissed me off in this game, the little things that the Yankees just failed to execute on. When they're bad, they're really ugly. Like the DJ double clutch on the throw home early on. You had Luis Gil going from the windup with the runner on first base who almost gets to third because of it. You had the Verdugo play later in foul territory where he doesn't take charge of that fly ball with Peraza going back. The ball drops in front of him. You have the Grisham Rojas play on the bases. You had the Mark Leiter bad pickoff throw to first base. You got DJ LeMahieu also not stepping on first base there. You got the Juan Soto right field blunder in extra innings. It was so bad. Then you got Cleveland, bunting left and right to bunt runners over in extras, using that to their advantage. And the Yankees with these poor quick at bats. Like, it was such a bad, fundamentally sound game. That doesn't make any sense. It was such a bad game fundamentally. Again, I know under Boone, they are awful at the little things. But this was like another level of like, holy shit. If their name wasn't the New York Yankees, this manager might be fired. Like, it's really ugly. And it just gets me thinking, how are they going to win a World Series like this? Just the sloppiness, the utter sloppiness. And I think what bothers me the most is that it's continuing to happen because the guy they have leading them doesn't really see a problem with it. Or it doesn't seem like he sees a problem with it. It's a blip in the road. We know we're better than that. Like, how about, like, it's kind of sick. It's kind of sick and twisted that the Yankees continue to coddle grown-ass men. The way they just baby them. The way they talk about them like they're these delicate 16-year-old teenagers. They're grown-ass men. It's okay to give a little tough love. It's okay to be a coach, to be a manager. You know what I mean? And that's why I love, whenever Boone's on Jomboy every week, how Jomboy presses him. You know? And he was talking to Boone this week about a lot of things. And this kind of went viral this episode because he was talking to Boone about the Volpe stuff, about how Volpe's not hitting. He's in year 2, and he was supposed to listen. The guy was a number 1 prospect in their system for years. He was on the MLB Pipeline's top 100 list for years because of his bat. He was supposed to be a bat at the major league level. And yes, his glove's been good. He's already won a Gold Glove. He could possibly win a second in a row already. That's great. He's here because he's supposed to hit. And the Yankees were telling you he's going to be this hitter. And now they're like moving the goalposts to where, well, he's a great defensive shortstop. He's got an amazing glove. That's not good enough for you. They're moving the goalposts because they know they're wrong. Now they want to try and pivot and spin zone it. And he was kind of talking to Boone about that. And Boone got mad because Boone knew he was wrong. And when somebody presses you on something and you know they're right, you get mad like that. You know, and he was talking to him about the Austin Wells stuff, you know, which is frustrating a lot of us. You finally get some protection for Aaron Judge at cleanup, but now he sits because apparently he can't hit left-handed pitching. And you look at the splits, it's like Jose Trevino is not Albert Pujols against lefty pitching. He's mediocre, you know, and Austin Wells at 25 years old, yes, he doesn't slug lefty pitching. He gets on base first and foremost against lefties still. But okay, the OPS isn't great. It's a sample size of 50-plus plate appearances in his entire career against lefties. I mean, the guy's got upside. How is he going to improve against lefties if you're just going to limit him? Let him face lefties. And to his credit, he did in this series. He played Austin Wells. But he needs to play every day going forward. This can't be a platoon. That's what scares me in the playoffs. I'm not concerned about the lineup's production. I'm concerned about the lineup. Who's going to play? Because I don't trust this guy plugging in the right players. But yeah, it's just, I know I'm going off topic here. Aaron Boone bothers me, man. It's the way they're robotic. Like, they don't actually give you anything to just have a conversation with. You know, you listen to Boone in these press conferences and these interviews, he's doing mental gymnastics to try and stand for his guys. He's up there trying his very best to just be this cheerleader, a team mom, right? He's stuttering, he's pausing. You can see him pause in the middle of talking to think and try to find a spin zone, to try and just spin something and to just bullshit and, you know, gaslight you. Like, they're lying to you. They're lying to the fans, which is totally disgraceful. It's disgusting because we're not stupid. East Coast New York fans know their ball. They know their sports. They know. They are the most diehard around. Don't lie to us. We know what the fuck we're seeing. So, yeah. It's that. It's the lack of accountability. All in all, that's allowing these fundamental mistakes to continue to happen. So, I'll end my piece there. That was game 1 of the series. Let's go to game 2, where the Yankees bounced back and won 8-1 over Cleveland. Nestor Cortez went up against Cantillo, but the Yankee bats scored 8 runs on 9 hits, 4 extra base hits, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts. They were 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Against Cantillo, they scored 7 runs in 4 innings on him. And then against the Indian bullpen, or Guardian bullpen, They scored 1 run in 4 innings. Bottom of the first, you have the Juan Soto 2-run blast, 2-0 Yankees. Judge goes deep with a 2-run blast of his own, of course, in the bottom of the third, 4-0 Yankees. Soto goes yard, or no, he doesn't go yard. He goes and drives in 3 runs in the bottom of the fourth with a check swing double down the third baseline. Bases clear. It's 7-0 Yankees. Judge makes it 8-0 with his second homer of the game in the 7th inning off Morgan. And that was it. That was your final 8-1. Gleyber Torres goes 2 for 4. Soto goes 2 for 3, a double, home run, walk, 5 RBIs. Judge goes 2 for 3 with 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. Volpe goes 1 for 4 with a double. Wells goes 1 for 4. Started in this game against a left-handed pitcher. Stanton goes 1 for 4. Peraza goes 0 for 3 with a walk. And the Verdugo goes 0 for 3 with the walk as well. Nestor Cortez went 7 strong. We will talk about his gem later. Tim Meza, the only reliever after him, threw 2 innings to close out the game, gave up 1 solo home run in garbage time in the 8th inning. And the Yankees won that game 8-1. This afternoon, the Yankees took on the Guardians one last time and won 6-0 this afternoon on Thursday. 6 runs on 6. This was Cole versus Williams. 6 runs on 6 hits for the Yankees, 3 extra base hits, 8 walks, 8 strikeouts, hit into 1 double play, had 2 sac flies, and they were 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Against Williams, they scored 3 runs in 4 1/3. They scored on him in the bottom of the 4th inning, where Judge went deep with a solo home run. Got a change up middle, punished it, and that was his 48th of the season. Made it 1-0. Against the Cleveland bullpen, they scored 3 runs in 3 2/3 innings. You had Austin Wells with a sac fly in the 5th against Sandlin. Made it 2-0. Stanton had a 3-run bomb against Sandlin in the 5th. Looked like it was staying in the park. Didn't. Very Stanton-like swing on it where you just wonder how the hell he hit that out. But he's like the only guy who could do that because of his strength. And it's 5-0 after 5. Bottom of the 8th, Rice gets a sac fly off Gillespie. And it's 6-0 Yankees. And that was your final. Garrett Cole pitched in this game, and he pitched beautifully. 6 innings, no runs, 1 hit, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts, no home runs, 95 pitches, got the win, his 150th career win. He wasn't sharp. His command was not there, but to still, this is how you know Garrett Cole's back, because he had a bad start and he still gave you 6 scoreless. You know, that's how you know he's back. Earlier in the season when he was just working his way back, if he had a bad start, he got beat up. You know, he gave up 4 to Boston. He gave up 6 to the Mets. He's back. He looks back. He gave up 1 hit to start the game off, a leadoff base hit. And then after that, he no-hit Cleveland for 6 innings. So he's in a rhythm right now. He's on fire. 6 of his last 7 starts have been really good starts. He's got a 2.43 ERA during that span. That's including that 1 Mets implosion. But he looks very good, and I'm getting more confident watching him. The stuff seems a little diminished. I'm not going to lie. It doesn't seem like his stuff is as good as it used to be. There is still some hard contact. The strikeouts are down. The fastball's a tick below, but I'm not sure if that's just the eye test lying to me. But it does seem like this stuff's not as swing and miss. You know? He's having a lot more innings where he's got to deal with traffic on the bases, and he's just not getting the strikeout as much. But maybe that's going to come. But that's just the one thing I'm noticing is that the movement and the life on some of these pitches, not the same. He's not painting the corners like he usually does. But we'll see. Regardless, I still think he's able to get hitters out at an elite rate, and that's what we need. He's Garrett Cole. And the bullpen goes 3 innings, no runs, no hits. Tim Hill, an inning and a third. Luke Weaver, 2/3 of an inning, 2 strikeouts. And then drawing a blank. Who closed today's game? Let's look it up real quick. After Luke Weaver, it was Michael Tonkin who gave you 2 strikeouts in the 9th. And so that was that. I do want to go back to game 2 real briefly because I want to tip my cap to Nestor Cortes. Nestor Cortes was brilliant in game 2 on Wednesday. 7 innings, no runs, 4 strikeouts, no walks, 3 hits, no home runs allowed, 104 pitches, and he got the much-deserved win. He's starting to get hot again, man. Nestor Cortes, in his last 2 starts, 14 innings, no runs on 6 hits, no walks. He's starting to look very good again. His fastball location was very strong in this game. The 4-seam, the cut fastball. He was pounding the zone, throwing strikes, and that allowed him to be very efficient. He's gone into the 7th multiple times this year, and he's completed the 7th multiple times. So this was a huge 7 innings from him to save the bullpen because the Yankees were completely taxed after Tuesday's extra inning affair where they just pitched everybody in their pen. They needed Nestor to go 7, and he gave him 7. So big start for him. Obviously, he wants to make that playoff roster, rotation, so he's fighting for a spot. I still don't know if I want to put him in my rotation. My playoff 3 or 4, whatever they end up going with, doesn't include him right now. But it might by the end of the season. Maybe. We'll see. But he continues to do... And listen, if you asked me at the beginning of the season, would I sign up for what Nestor Cortes has done this year for the Yankees? A 4.0 ERA, 148 in the 3rd innings through August. Absolutely, I would have signed up for that. An adequate number 5 is all I was asking preseason, and that's what we're getting. He's been fine. So that's his 6th cap tip of the year. Nestor Cortes, keep doing your thing. Let's move to the bullpen. I'm going to hand this to, I'm going to tip my cap to Tim Hill. Tim Hill's been good, man. Tim Hill in this series, 3 1/3 innings, no runs, no strikeouts, a walk, 2 hits, only 2 singles, 44 pitches, 2 no decisions. But he looked good. Pitched on Tuesday, pitched on Thursday, game 1 and game 3. I don't know how this guy continues to get outs for the Yankees. It's the arm angle, I'm assuming right now, that's throwing guys off in the American League East. When he was with Chicago, he was getting lit up. But, you look at these guys' numbers, and even with the Yankees, it's like he gives up a lot of hits. He does not strike guys out. He's, if you like FIP, he's overperforming to his FIP. And you go to his baseball savant, it's not great. The indicators, the peripherals are all saying, there's going to be another shoe to drop soon. That's why I'm not really high on him, because his stuff's not great. But right now it's working. He looks really good with the Yankees. He's got a 2-something ERA with the team. And he's got 2 cap tips now. So good for Tim Hill. We'll ride this out as long as we can. And then let's go to the lineup. Let's obviously tip our cap to the captain. Because Aaron Judge, man, Aaron Judge is on an otherworldly tear. He's been his entire season, I guess for May on, has been one long hot streak. It's crazy. In this series, Aaron Judge, let's read this off here. This is amazing. In 3 games this series, he had 4 home runs, 1 double, 2 walks, and that gave him a 2.207 OPS in these 3 games. 7 RBIs. I mean, he's having such a ridiculous season. There's so many fun stats to look at and just be in awe. Obviously, the 48 home runs through 126 games. The 118 RBIs through that many games. Almost 1 per game. That's insane. The 104 walks. But you look at that slugging percentage. The 726 slugging percentage. That's insane. DJ LeMahieu's OPS is 512. Aaron Judge's slug is 726. The league average for OPS is 720-something. His slugging is higher than the league average for OPS. That's incredible. The guy's on a tear this season. His OPS is about to hit 1,200, which I don't know if people understand how ridiculous that is. That's ridiculous. And just the fact that he's on pace to tie his record now, and he's doing that batting .334. That is just, I mean, he could be doing this hitting .270, and it'd be amazing. He's batting .334, guys. The on base is 465, which means he's getting on base 47% of the time. You round that off, like half the time almost. It's ridiculous. Video game shit. And I just hope this guy does it when it matters. 14 cap tips to lead the Yankees. Aaron Judge, just a gift. A gift. The guy is just, and he's not striking out as much this year. He didn't strike out all this series. On the season, he's got a 24% K rate, which is, I believe, league average now. So he's cut down on that. He's not chasing out of the zone as much. He's just so disciplined, so powerful, and it's just unbelievable. So, Aaron Judge, tipping my cap to you, man. Let's head to break, guys. We'll be right back in a few minutes. Stay with us.
Hey there. Thanks for listening in so far. If you enjoy this episode, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much. You can follow us on social media as well. On Instagram, we're at BD4Pod and at Rob J. Carbone. On X, we're at BD4Pod and at RJCBD4. And on Facebook, we're BD4. If you're interested in our website, just go to www.bd4blog.com. You can subscribe to our blog on there right on the front page. Just like on the podcast, we cover Yankees, Knicks, and MMA. Also on our website are the links to the different platforms for the podcast. Thanks so much.
Okay. So, first place, 75-53. It's all very fun. On pace to win 95. It's all fun. Still need this team to win a championship because this is the 1-year Soto window, right? This is Garrett Cole, Aaron Judge are getting close to their mid-30s now. Or at least Cole is. Judge is the peak of his, this is the window you need to capitalize on. Got 7 guys, maybe more, entering free agency after the year. You got to do it this year. How can the Yankees win a championship this year? What, in my opinion, at least, the recipe in modern MLB to winning a championship is power and pitching. Power and relief pitching. Right? It's a bullpen's game now. Power and relief pitching. And I think stars win. And listen, I don't think you need a ridiculously deep lineup when you have Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth batting 2 and 3 in your order. And newsflash, the Yankees have exactly that. When you have Judge and Soto hitting 2 and 3 in your order, all you need is for them 2 guys to be them 2 guys in the postseason, because stars are going to win you games. And if Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge in the playoffs this time around, and Juan Soto has himself another 2019 postseason that he did with the Nationals, this team's probably going to win the championship. Let's just be honest. They're going to carry them there. That was the idea. From the very get-go, these two guys were going to carry. That's all you need. If you just get those two guys doing their thing, and then you get a couple of contributors outside of that, their lineup's going to be really good in the playoffs for a change. But it's got to come down to Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge hasn't really had a good postseason career. He's had some moments, right? The first 3 years of his career, he had some good playoff numbers. There are a few rounds where he performed pretty well in. But the last 3 seasons, after COVID, really, 2021, 2022, and 2020, I mean, it's been rough. It's been rough. So he needs to be Aaron Judge. And if he's himself, and you get the other guys just being good, right? And I think Stanton's an X factor too. Giancarlo Stanton is a huge X factor. People are forgetting about him because he's always hurt, but he's been productive. He's had a productive season. And you look at his playoff resume with the Yankees, pretty damn good. Pretty friggin' good. He's an X factor. This guy, when he gets going, he's just as dangerous as anybody. And you got all these guys, these young kids on this roster. Wells, Chisholm, Volpe, Cabrera. They're all capable of having big postseasons. So I think the Yankees have the stuff. They've got the makeup in their lineup. I think that lineup can get it done. Judge and Soto will carry, and you'll get a couple contributors outside that. I just hope he plugs in the right buttons, pushes the right buttons. But it's going to come down to power and bullpen because the bullpen needs to figure this out. You know, I still am very weary on this bullpen because I look at it and like, how many guys do I look at in this pen and love? Like, how many guys do you love? I love Luke Weaver. Like, I'm very comfortable with him. Do we love anybody else yet? I'm a big fan of Cousins, but have I gotten that feeling where I could say I love Cousins? Tommy Kahnle, he's had a really good year. He's got an ERA sub 2. I don't know if I could say I love him just because I always get nervous him throwing that changeup. You know, like other guys who've been good, I don't know. I don't have that comfort that I used to with this bullpen. Right? Like, and, you know, I saw a good point on Twitter. Somebody tweeted this. I don't know who. Basically just saying, like, starting pitching or starting pitchers in the bullpen will play a role in this postseason again. Because like a lot of recent World Series championships, those teams have adopted that style. Like Houston, Boston, Washington, Texas last year went to it, where they put some of their starters in the bullpen if they had to. It was all hands on deck. So you're already hearing some noise about the Yankees potentially doing that with Clark Schmidt, with Luis Heel, right? Maybe they do it with Garrett Cole at some point in a postseason series. It's got to be all hands on deck. And with this bullpen lacking swing and miss, I wouldn't be shocked if one of those guys got some relief appearances or innings. Because the Yankees are going to need it. Mark Leiter was acquired to get swing and miss. So maybe he finds something. The guys coming back, Efros, Trevino, Hamilton. I can't say I have a lot of faith in them, man. Especially those two guys who haven't pitched in a damn year, 2 years maybe. Like it's a while. So it's gonna come down to their bullpen, man. That's what's concerning me the most. But I think the bats will hit. Remember, you got Dominguez. Hopefully this is a year where they realize we should probably play Dominguez in the playoffs. So hopefully he can crack the roster in September so he's eligible. I think he has to be on that roster. Just too potent. Switch hitting bat. If you got to DFA Verdugo, do it. If you got to bring him off the bench in the postseason, do it. In September, even do it. Like he's having the worst season by far of his career, Verdugo. At this point, he can't have a good season. He can just have a good stretch. But if he was to have a good stretch, he would have turned it around already. It would have happened. It's over. He's not hitting. It's a lost year for him. Didn't work. The defense has been mediocre. It's over. He should not, as a rental player who doesn't have a contract with this team next year, be the reason Dominguez is stashed in Scranton. Trent Grisham, too. Easy guy to DFA, or have him come off the bench. Like, he shouldn't be here playing over Dominguez, if that's what it is. And Dominguez, I know people are saying, oh my God, his numbers since returning aren't great. I don't care. I don't care. He's proved it long enough down there. Which, by the way, his last 7 games with Scranton, 464, 531 on base, 571 slug, which means an 1102 OPS. He's got a home run, 4 walks. He threw a runner out recently. He's looked a lot better. Just needs the power to come along. But he's swinging the bat much better. He had 2 big hits tonight. 2 hard hits. But he needs to be on the roster in the playoffs, that's for sure. He honestly needs to be here by September. DJ LeMahieu can't be on that roster. Why is he still here right now? Let's just be honest. Why is DJ even here right now? LeMahieu is not a major league player anymore. Sorry, LeMahieu is not a Major League Baseball player. It's over for him, man. He's 36 years old. He's not been relevant since 2019, 2020. Right now, we're in late August, and he's batting a .189 with a .249 slugging percentage. The bat speed's gone. His bat speed's 67 miles an hour. His launch angle's at a career low, 1.9 degrees, so you combine a low launch angle and slow foot speed, he's going to turn into this ground ball machine. This double play machine. And that's what he's been. His defense has been pretty bad too. The range is lacking. The arm's not as good as it used to be. His first base defense in particular has been bad. But he's such a bad hitter. He's not a Major League Baseball player anymore. He should probably consider retirement. I think it's that bad. It's over for him. It's been 4 or 5 years. 4 years? It's over for him. It's unfortunately over for LeMahieu. It's been 4 years of unproductivity. You know, he's had, for some reason, he gets a longer leash than Donaldson did, who at least gave you power and defense. Right? Donaldson still hit you 15 home runs. He still played great third base, as bad as he was. He got a shorter leash than DJ LeMahieu. You know? So I don't think LeMahieu should be on this roster tomorrow, let alone the postseason. I think first base is going to be a hole regardless. Between LeMahieu, Rice, Rizzo, they're at a point where they can't really fix first base. That's going to be a hole. At least with like second and third base, you can fuck with that. You can fix it because you have Chisholm back and you've also got Cabrera. So Cabrera can play. You can play those guys second and third, either or. Him and Chisholm. Like, you don't have to. Torres is going to be playing in the playoffs and he's going to be getting at-bats the rest of the season just because the Yankees are in love with the dude. Familiarity and just veterans who've been here long. They stick with those guys forever. They're worried about his feelings. But, like, if we're being honest and we're just talking straight up baseball, Peraza should have probably been given a shot over Gleyber Torres a while ago. This was the perfect season to do that, as Gleyber's in a walk year. But Cabrera, at the very least, should be there on the roster in the playoffs. I expect him to. And then you look at your rotation, and it's, you know, listen, as much shit as we give the rotation, they're top 10 in ERA and innings. They're still doing fine. Again, Heel just went on to the DL. I'm assuming he'll be fine. But you got guys like Cortez and Stroman possibly coming around now. Their last few starts have been strong. Cole rounding into form. We're going to see what Rodon does tomorrow. Can he bounce back and continue a stretch of really good starts before that blunder last time out? So I still think the rotation can be enough. Just enough. It's going to be the bullpen that I'm worried about. But I think the rotation, that there's a world out there where the rotation can figure this out and be credible in a playoff series. But we're still in the regular season, and coming up this weekend, we have the Colorado Rockies coming to the Bronx. The Yankees will face the terrible Rockies, who are in 5th place in the NL. NL West, wherever the fuck they play. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's a 3-game set against a really bad team. The Yankees only have one starter this series. They haven't announced who the hell they're pitching in the next 2 days, so maybe Will Warren gets a shot one of these days. But it's Rodon versus Freeland tomorrow night, and then it's TBD for the next 2 days. But the Rockies are a team that the Yankees absolutely need to sweep, not take 2 out of 3 of. They need to sweep. They really need to sweep this team. With how bad they were to start the month against these terrible teams that they played, they need to finally take advantage with the Orioles still reeling and sweep the Rockies and go up by 2, 3, 4 games. So that's got to be what they think. Folks, that's it. That's all we got. We're going to head to our final break, get back, wrap it up with our trivia, and that'll be that. Stay with us. Be right back here in episode 703. Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
Thanks for listening to BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA, Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion.
All right, welcome back to the show. Let's get to our trivia. Okay. For this episode, our trivia question of the day in episode 703. For which Yankees player did Lou Gehrig pinch hit for on June 1st, 1925 to begin his consecutive game streak? For which Yankees player did Lou Gehrig pinch hit on June 1st, 1925 to begin his consecutive game streak? All right, one final time. For which Yankees player did Lou Gehrig pinch hit on June 1st, 1925 to begin his consecutive games streak? Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse. It was like 2,000 something games in a row. All right. So who did he pinch hit for? All right, folks, that's it. Episode 703 is in the books. I will see you in 704 talking Yanks Rockies. Hopefully we're talking about a sweep. Hopefully we are talking about a sweep. Nothing worse. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching wherever you are, whatever platform. Appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next show. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks.